morning, Khushamadid. Well, this morning, Pashishe Bandit Afsahar Kalewaim. Assalamu alaikum.
Gianu, Pakheragale, Nihao, Judashume, Washmale, Ohio Gonzaimus, Guten Morgen, Ola, Boyor, Privyet, Kaifa Hal, Halishuma Chatore, Ahlan Wasalan Marhaba, Buna, Mucho, Gracias, Swabia, Bali Kareya, Hosh Galden, and thank you very much everybody for tuning into PTV World. You're definitely watching World this morning alongside the very fantastic, amazing, and a wonderful colleague, and she happens to be Miss Maheen Jaffrey. I happen to be Shahzad Hassan Khan, and we hope and pray that everybody out there is ready to kickstart their day with us. But first things first, hello Maheen, kya haal hai aapka?
Assalamu alaikum Shahzad, I'm perfectly fine. Aap sunaye?
Well, I think so far so good. Alhamdulillah, I did give myself a little bit of positive head talk to
so you
early in the morning, and I was
that.
like, because when I woke up, I was like, you know what, I should actually take a day off. Then I was like, you know, that the topic is just so amazing that whatever we're going to discuss today will benefit millions of people out there.
Exactly.
You know, within Pakistan, you know, even if we talk about the entire population, which is somewhat around 220 million, ladies and gentlemen, but today is the day when I'm literally very happy, ecstatic, and I'm going to rejoice myself that I'm glad, I'm thankful to Allah Almighty that Allah gave me this opportunity, that I will be giving this information to you. What is that? We will definitely come back to that as well. But what about you? What did you do early in the morning?
I'm also very happy, but not because of the reasons that you're telling.
Okay.
I had my, Eastern kind of breakfast, and I just love that. So sometimes if
Eastern looks, Eastern actually sounds so nice, but I think what you're trying to say is desi, right?
Yes, desi nashta, yes.
All right,
yes.
well, what was the menu?
Well, it was, of course, paratha anda.
Paratha anda? Who made the paratha?
Well, my cook.
All right, well, that's wonderful. Was there desi ghee in it as well?
Not desi ghee.
Not desi
but
ghee?
I really enjoyed, because sometimes there's happiness on a face, and if you want to know the secret, the secret must be carbs.
Yeah,
Do you agree?
it must be because, you know, I've heard it, my mother say that, you know, mard ke dil ka rasta jo hai uske peet se hota hai, something like that. I don't know, mothers do
I
say
think it's true.
such
I
stuff
think
as well.
there's always a wisdom.
But what about women?
I think
Unke dilon ka rasta kahan
unke
se?
dilon ka bhi yahin se hota.
I think that's wonderful, but let's get the day started, ladies and gentlemen. Breakfast obviously is one of the most important meals of your day. Please make sure that you never skip that, and please make sure if your mother is not serving you with breakfast, ask her for breakfast as well, because it will definitely help you nurture and grow as well. But first things first, I'm really excited about it.
Well, we are talking about something that even I didn't know, and I had to really study, but we are talking about digitalization.
Why are you so sad about it? Even if you don't know it.
Okay.
It's all right. You know, we're here to learn, right?
Yeah, so I was studying about this Pakistan single window digitalization, and when we talk about globalization and the systems and the integration of technologies, we come to know so much about connections, the data. We can look at it, the interface is easy, it's user friendly, things like that. But how come they have digitalized that? We talk about that, and how is it helping to ease the trade in Pakistan and boosting international trade as well?
Exactly, and ladies and gentlemen, it's really very important, you know, because for people now these days, alhamdulillah, more than people looking for jobs, they're looking for better opportunities to have their own businesses. So imagine that, you know, if we are into import and export, and that if we are to send something abroad, you know, the process was really very lengthy. And even if somebody sent you a car or a gift or something, it was a difficult job. You know, a person like me would never step outside, and it's because of the fact you would have to go to the dry port. They will give you a customs agent. The customs agent then will have his own tantrums. I'm very sorry to say that. And then he'd be like, sir, patani. And you know, you definitely do come across situations where you like, you know, the customs agent will actually scare you as well. He's like, sir, bahut hi ajeeb si cheez mangai hai, list mein naam hi nahi hai. You know, so for all of those things, you know, we would always get worried that, hey, you know what, I wasn't doing anything illegal till the time the customs agent spoke up. So ladies and gentlemen, when we talk about transit trade, when we talk about Pakistan being blessed to have such a geographical location that a lot of trade routes fall into place as well, and that we are building up on that, I think what was really very important is that when we talk about the Industrial Revolution, or when we talk about the information technology, I think it needs to be integrated, and it needs to be integrated in a way where me, Maheen, you know, for you people out there, can actually do it just by sitting at home on your laptop and at the convenience of whatever you want to order for yourself, or probably export to your customers as well. And I think it's going to make life easier for a lot of people, which is why it's called Pakistan Single Window as well. So it's a single window solution. How did that happen? That we got to a point that finally, you know, there will be transparency, and we will make sure that there will be an increase in trade as well. But we're very lucky to have been joined by people behind this entire project, entire plan. which will actually give a leap start to Pakistanis as well when we talk about trade. So ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, we're very lucky that we have been joined by the man himself, who actually happens to be the Chief Executive Officer of Pakistan Single Window, and he is Mr. Sayyid Aftab Haider Saab. Hello sir, Assalamu alaikum, good morning.
Assalamu alaikum, good morning.
How are you?
Thank you very much. I'm doing great. And after all this talk of desi nashta, you know, I'm feeling fantastic.
I think it's wonderful. Thank you very much, sir, once again. And ladies and gentlemen, when we talk about technology, obviously you do need the brains too as well. And so for Pakistan Single Window, the technological brain came from who we refer to as the Digital Strategy Advisor. He is Mr. Athar Fahim. Hello, assalamu alaikum, good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you very much. Absolutely fine.
Thank you very much for joining us. Wonderful to have you, sir. So first things first, obviously, what is Pakistan Single Window for all our audiences out there? Because we go out in 46 different countries.
Make me happy because I was sad.
No, thank you very much, guys. I mean, I think that's a great introduction that you made for the single window. I wouldn't have been able to do a better intro so thank you very much for that.
Exactly.
Thank you also for having us here. I think we have a great story to tell. Pakistan Single Window is one of the major public sector reform initiatives to have come up in the past few years, I would say. We started our journey in 2017, and alhamdulillah in 2022 we are looking at closing the first phase of single window implementation in June 2022, which is also Pakistan's commitment under the World Trade Organization's Trade Facilitation Agreement. So it has been a wonderful journey, and we welcome all opportunities to present our side of the story, not only within Pakistan but also to international audiences, because there's a lot that we have learned on this way, and there's a lot that we can share with others who are trying to do similar projects. So what is single window? Basically, when we talk about windows, everyone always thinks about the physical infrastructure. Log sochte hain khidki bana rahe hain, and you know there would be some official behind that and would be interacting.
Nadra's office.
And you know there have been some great initiatives in the government on single window, on one window I would say, jahan pe different facilities ko ikatha kar diya jata hai. Ours is a very different concept. Single window is basically an electronic platform, and what we are doing is we are trying to connect customs, the banking sector, all the private sector people who are involved in trade, whether they are traders, they are clearing agents, they are service providers, insurers, transporters, freight forwarders, and connecting them with government agencies who regulate trade. Or जब हम regulation की बात करते हैं, you'll be surprised to know that although customs is the one that is at the borders, clearing the goods, dealing with the passengers, but there are about 74 government organizations जो trade को regulate करते हैं.
True.
So, for example, if you want to export a container of rice, you probably need a phytosanitary certificate from the Department of Plant Protection. If you are importing something from abroad, you would need a Standards Quality Control Authority, NOC for that. And you know, if you count them all up, it's almost about 1.2 million documents that we are talking about. So what single window does is provide you a single platform. So we eliminate human interaction. You, like you said, you sit at from the comfort of your homes or your offices with your device. You do all your import, export, translated stuff over there.
Get rid of the documents.
Get rid of the documents. There's totally paperless. We don't believe in papers. We don't even believe in scanned documents in the system. Everything is digitalized.
Right.
So जब हम single window की बात करते हैं, technology की बात करते हैं, we are not talking about a simple process where you would be asked to scan a document and somebody would look at that document and make a decision. No. What is happening is that you are giving the data in a very structured way. The system is deciding for you. And where the system won't decide because of the risk parameter or something, then there would be human intervention in that. So that is the basic concept behind it. We started rolling out in July 2021. So far, we have been able to take customs registration totally online. We have integrated 26 out of 27 banks with the platform, which means that we have complete visibility over what is going to be imported or exported in the next 2 or 3 months. For example, we have activated the Department of Plant Protection, and just yesterday we deployed the Animal Quarantine Department also in the system.
So the complete system has been digitalized because there is so much involved in this.
Yes, and it's been a fantastic journey. I mean, so Pakistan Customs has led this initiative. I have a customs background. I used to be a customs officer, and Pakistan Customs was, you know, asked by the government to lead this because they had this track record of digitization in their processes. But now it has gone bigger than Pakistan Customs. So we are a national program.
Wow.
The company that I have the honor to lead is a state-owned enterprise. It's a public sector organization, but it is a national organization. So our mandate actually goes beyond what Customs does, and it includes all the 74 government departments. We have our own law called the Pakistan Single Window Act, and that has been also a very innovative experience that is being quoted around the world on how to build a single window actually.
Wow.
And sir, in addition to that, what I would want to ask over here is that, since we obviously spoke about the exporters, importers, and the banks being, affiliated to the PSW as well, but how did you kind of make sure that everybody's interest you're going to safeguard, when we talk about a single window operation of such sort as well?
That's a very good question. One of the reasons that there are a lot of IT projects that are initiated and they fail. And they fail because somebody has not done enough due diligence. And usually what happens is that people will come with a solution and they will try to impose that solution on the users. This is not the way we work. Basically, the process that we follow is a little bit tedious. It's longish, but we have a very inclusive, collaborative approach.
All right.
So there are 3 C's that we usually follow. It's coordination, collaboration, and connectivity. That's what we call for single window. And when we talk about collaboration, it means that for every process that we are going to bring in, we're taking on board all the government officers, जिनका उनके साथ ताल्लुक है. We at the table are the private sector people, at the table are the actual users, and with their collaboration, with their feedback, we develop a process and then we bring it in the system.
Which is why I want to talk about the process as well. So Athar bhai, I'll come to you as well. So now when we talk about such technologies being used, I mean, they cannot always be on point, right? And so since you have rolled out, have you ever considered that, okay, yeah, this might be a problem? Because, for example, if I'm pursuing a case, that's too online. And previously, it was just okay, I would go to a person and my work was being done. So now if there's a hiccup, the person sitting in that window, if it is supposed to be a physical one, will be like, I mean, a few of them, sir, system down hai, sir, internet down hai, and all of these problems. So obviously, first, let us know about the technology you've used and how it's going to benefit all of us, and then how do you think that you're going to eradicate all of these excuses which we might get?
True.
Okay. Well, I would like to start from the digital transformation perspective first, that what exactly it is. So adoption of technology is digital transformation, but at the same time, it is growing bigger now.
All right.
There are mainly 4 pillars that we used to have while addressing the digital transformation, specifically in the government departments. Your people, process, technology, and your data. So these are 4 pillars, and these are actually the building blocks that we used to develop gradually. And this is what exactly Aftab has rightly said, that how we are actually developing our the incremental approach towards our platform, because it's a national level program. Now, addressing to that question, that yes, technology is definitely, because we are still dependent on technology in different ways. There is a ecosystem. We are relying on hardware. We relying on networks. We also relying on the softwares. So there are lots
rely
of
on human resources as well.
On human resources as well. So what we are actually trying to build, our building blocks are actually in this way, that what we are actually, from the global standards perspective, we are trying to build the digitally equipped human resource to be inducted as much as possible, who should enable the processes digitally enabled, which digitally enabled services to be delivered for the public.
How did you say that? It sounded to me like a tongue twister. It's wonderful, yes. Understandable at the same time.
Yeah. So this is what exactly the whole crux of this platform
That's why he's leading the technology.
And at the same time, the way we are actually approaching is, we are very proud that we have just recently launched our digital transformation office, and that is actually very rare. I guess that we would be the first one in the public sector environment who has actually launched and established the digital transformation office, which gradually develop those building blocks in different terms, because it's not just developing the platform. Right now the focus is someone needs to develop the change management, create the change management. Someone needs to understand the trainings, because that program needs to be trained. Public should be aware about those trainings, that how they will gonna use it at the end of the day. One needs to tackle the support, where that question actually comes in, that someone will gonna call Jamshed will gonna call and say that, well, this system is out. What should I do? And we definitely face
Then
these
you would be
problems.
like, yeah, how may I help? Yeah, how can I help? In fact?
So what we did actually, it's important to also say that we have also established our call center. We say we established, we name it as Trader Support Center. Typically, it's not the call center; it's actually the Trader Support Center, so that it addresses
Not
the
everybody
traders.
should call.
Yeah, traders help.
They call me.
Traders help, and that's how we are actually using it.
And sir, in addition to that, very quickly, so since we have established what PSW is, why don't you tell people how to kind of get it, on your laptop, or probably where to get the assistance from? Because, sir, you were even mentioning that, that all of those rates are even available online. So now you really do not need to know. For example, most of the time the question I get is, if it's transfer of residence and if you want to get our vehicle to Pakistan, how do we get it?
Exactly.
Now there's no single answer for it, or unified as well. So you have done that as well. And how can we reach out to that, for all of those platforms? Please make sure that you share that with us as well.
Yes, thank you, Shadar. I think that's a great spot to actually plug in our latest product that we have just launched in March, on March 31st. Actually, it's called the Trade Information Portal. So you can access it at www.tipp.gov.pk.
Once again, sir, once again.
www.tipp.
TIPB.
PP.
Trade
PP.
Information Portal of Pakistan. So
Okay,
it's tipp.gov.pk. And what it does is basically it provides you a single access point for all information that you want. So for example, if somebody is coming under a TR scheme and they want to bring a car, you don't need to find a custom wala to guide you. Basically, you just go on the website, you go through the simple search function. What we have done is that according to a standard model, we have created search function, so you can enter a commodity even if you don't know the HS codes for them. You would put in a generic description. It would give you a complete guide of what are going to be the duties and taxes, what is going to be the process, which office do you need to approach, what forms do you need. If it's a paper-based system, it would give you a complete process map, visuals, along with fee, and the best thing is that the portal is in Urdu as well as in English.
Wow.
So we've made
That's
sure
lovely.
that ज़्यादातर लोग उसको avail कर सकें. Another thing, and I think I should highlight that, is that the Trade Information Portal is also a part of international commitment that Pakistan had under the Trade Facilitation Agreement. And we are very proud to say that we were able to create it within 9 months. Other countries have taken years. And also we are being told that this Trade Information Portal is being quoted as one of the best portals out there. Just does not only provide information on import-export, it also has additional information on entire banking ecosystem. Do you want to open a bank? Who is the contact point? Where is the office located? Which number do you need to call on? You need to approach a chamber of commerce. You want to find somebody in the Women's Chamber of Commerce. We give you a province-wise details on that. We also connect exporters to their buyers abroad. So, for example, if there's an exporter who wants to export cotton to the US, you go to our portal, you click on your export destination, which is US, and the system will tell you what requirements US has on your cotton that you need to comply with.
And the best part is that, the way it sounded is that, it looks simpler than a Shadi Wali website as well. And I think it's great. And when I say so, it's because of the fact that I want to motivate our audiences out there as well to please make sure that you kind of have that, take that leap as well, where, ladies and gentlemen, it is because of your convenience that they've done that as well. And imagine that originally it was supposed to cost us $167 million, but alhamdulillah, all of these champions have completed it just under, I think, probably $50 million.
It's $67 million as per the approved documents, but we are bringing it down to about $48 to $50 million.
Wow.
And I think it's very important to. Basically, I mean, we have done a lot of cost savings. Of course, I mean, we are a country which and we have to manage our resources.
True.
So what we have done is that we have not gone for a big bang approach. We have searched out Pakistanis like Athar. He has a very strong background in customs and trade. He was working abroad. We enticed him to come and join us, and work with us. So he left his very cushy job in Dubai and came back, and he's been working
Dubai
with us.
customs and everywhere. I mean, he's had it all. He's got the T-shirt along there.
Then I needed to ask a very simple question. Shahzad pointed out about a website being simple. What about the user interface? Because normally people over here get intimidated by anything that is either new or made in a difficult manner, something like that. So how about that?
Absolutely, I totally agree. UI UX is basically where we are, seriously focusing on from the while at the time of designing. I mean, this is actually one of the capability
Ji.
that we are ensuring that once the trader logged in, or any of his agent, for example, cargo agent or clearing agent, freight forwarders, or whosoever. So once they are actually logged in, they should not really see it as very complex user interface. Either the adoption that the vision that we are actually having is that the most of the trade data information is actually we have. And even at the time of when they are submitting their goods declaration, it's usually we have it. We would like that something we should come up from the data warehousing and business intelligence perspective. We should upload that data information down there before he is actually lodging his or submitting his declaration. All he needs to do is just to say that, well, is this correct or wrong?
Yeah.
He does not even need to submit it again and again and again and again.
Great.
Or from that perspective. However, I mean, since we are underway, and with the adoption of the emerging technologies, this can be possible. And this is where we are heading towards.
And I believe it is possible because, as soon as you start to type on Google, so you haven't completed your sentence of word, it already gives you, all of those results as well. And I think it's better for people to understand in any case as well. But sir, let's talk about people who are differently able, people who are visually impaired. How do you think, because a lot of people are coming in, alhamdulillah, and they have their own businesses. So how do you think PSW is going to work, will help them, or in fact give them an opportunity to work?
In fact, for all actually. I mean, everyone, because this is public sector. In public sector, it's very rare usually. The way we are actually developing our capabilities and our networks, it's usually happening mostly in private sector. You don't see it in the public sector.
True.
I normally, trust me, I work. I mean, globally.
All over the world.
But one of the biggest challenge which I have ever faced is the top management commitment. One of the challenge. This is not here, and this is very rare here as well.
I think that's a compliment to Aftab Sahab over here, so let's refer back to Aftab Sahab.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely.
It's a team effort.
Now, the same way, when it comes to the skilled resources, we definitely require all type of resources.
True.
Specifically, those which are good in artificial intelligence. We need data scientists, data experts, who should come up and then develop the frameworks for us.
And which is why I'm going to move on to Aftab Sahab over here. So Aftab Sahab, when unofficially, if people within the government sector get to know that, hey, there's a new setup opening up, and they will be hiring a lot of people. Already a lot of people are calling you, and here you are, and you wanted people who were scientists, you wanted people who were good with artificial intelligence, and sometimes it's just a job which has so much pressure. So how do you think that you will make sure that each and every individual which you're going to hire for PSW will be the one who deserves that particular job? Because I have seen that happening quite a lot, and which is why, unfortunately, even after 70 years, we're not where we were supposed to be.
I think again that's a very good question, and I mean, people often ask us why did we decide to create a new company to implement a single window system. It could have been done by a customs department. It could have been done by FPR, which has a stellar record, by the way, in implementing reform. So the reason was that we wanted to have a setup where we could have hiring and firing powers, where we could make sure that there are performance appraisals, which are objective based, there are KPIs which are being followed and implemented. We wanted to make sure that whatever the setup is, it would be free from any bureaucratic or political interference. And so far, alhamdulillah, we have managed to do that. Everyone claims that we do recruitments on merit, but we actually follow that claim.
Right.
We have a very open competitive process. We have very good, well-developed job descriptions. We are a very young company. I mean, we started operations in April 2020, I guess. And I have been working under a year as the CEO. So we are still developing a lot of our processes. But there is a very, very clear approach towards how people are going to work and how the performance is going to be measured. I think one of the points that I also would like to bring in here through you is that we have kept a very lean team.
Right.
So we are not looking at a huge organization. We have no offices anywhere at the borders, at the dry ports, at the ports, no way. We are just 2 offices. There's a very small setup which is based in Islamabad because we have to work with government a lot, and that's why I'm here. But the bulk of our team is based in Karachi. The total organization size is not going to be more than 220. And even that we are reconsidering because we are going towards a model where we actually shake hands with the private sector.
Wow.
And my vision has always been that, if there's private sector that does work better than us, we should not get into this space. Rather, we should partner with them.
Collaborate with them.
And collaborate. We give them our platform, we give them our branding, we give them the government backup, the legal framework, and let them develop their products.
So very quickly towards the end, one last question, and that is that, so what happens is that, for example, if I'm going to invest in a residential society, they would be like, hey, you know what, we're going to give you 5 lakh rupees if you start constructing your house or plaza or whatsoever. They will offer me a benefit to kind of, share their transition. So now when we talk about transition, moving on from an older practice to a very newer technological practice, do we really need to benefit people? Because a lot of traders weren't already in the tax network as well. So, how do you think that we're going to kind of benefit each and every one of them the way they were already, and that there's not going to be any difference with their trade? In fact, rather, it will be more profitable and helpful.
It has to be a win-win. So, one of the things that we are doing is that we have a very agile approach towards implementation. So we want to make sure that if you're talking about all of this stuff, we have not talked a lot right now. There are a lot of other things that we are bringing in. They are not aspirational, they're actually happening. But you want to bring them quickly. It's just like your phone. Every other month you get an iOS update or an Android update, and you know that something is happening. There are new products, new interfaces like that. Same thing with us. Every month we are adding new features. Number one.
So we have an application as well?
We also are web enabled.
Okay.
The other thing is that we have a very strong feedback system. So there are 3 things that we're working on. Provision of information. So you make sure that everyone has access to information. So there's non-compliance goes down.
All right.
Number 2, you give them a very efficient paperless system. So everything is just online. You give them track and trace. You give government the ability to actually look at the transactions that are happening. That's the system. But at the same time, you strengthen your customer service, like Athar said, and you make sure that there's a feedback system. So if there's something that we have implemented and it's not bringing the results that we hoped for, we would always change it based on the feedback that we get from.
Oh, that's wonderful. So thank you very much, Aftab Bhai, for being with us. Thank you very much, Athar Bhai, for being with us. Lovely to be in conversation with such amazing, vibrant gentlemen as well. And I'm happy actually, because this is something which I might have envisioned for Pakistan, and thank you very much for making my dream come true as well. Because half of the time that's what the problem is, and I would actually want to say it in Urdu as well. So so that the message goes out for the larger audience. तो ख़वातीन हज़रात, आप में से जितने भी लोग हैं जो तजारत करते हैं, बाहर मुल्कों से आपका सामान आता है, आप यहाँ से पाकिस्तान से सामान भेजते हैं, पाकिस्तान सिंगल विंडो आपके लिए एक ऐसा प्लेटफॉर्म है जहाँ पे आप जाके एक तो सब चीज़ें घर पे बैठे कर सकते हैं. आपको सिर्फ एक लैपटॉप चाहिए और वो आपको बताता रहेगा साथ साथ कि यार ये ऐसे करना है, ऐसे करना है. हर पूरे प्रोसेस में आपको साथ साथ लेकर चलेगा. लेकिन इसके बाद एक और मज़ेदार बात यह है कि आपको किसी भी कस्टम्स एजेंट को फ़ोन नहीं करना पड़ेगा ये पूछने के लिए कि यार मेरी फ़लाँ चीज़ आ रही है, इसके ऊपर कितनी ड्यूटी लगनी है, कितना टैक्स लगना है. उसके लिए एक अलग वेबसाइट है जो मैं आपको बता देता हूँ, www.tipp.gov.pk. उस पर जाइए. हर अशिया, जितनी भी अशिया, खुर्दोनोश है, गाड़ियाँ हैं, जो भी मसले मसाइल हैं, सब आपको वहीं मिल जाएगा. किसी को फ़ोन करने की ज़रूरत नहीं. Just log on to PSW and I think it will get your job sorted. With that, because of Aftab over here said that it's a win-win, I think that's something which I want to talk about in the second segment as well. Why and how. I think that's what will actually keep you tuned into PT World. So we're heading out towards a short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Good morning.
Good morning.